Hello everyone, welcome back to the Hormuz Freedom Campaign for the AV-8B Harrier in DCS World, and welcome to Mission 12, RESCAP. And this is, unfortunately, another one of these iffy missions. The setup, once again, is quite familiar, bit of a repeat to a previous mission, in that pilots have been shot down, this time over the Iranian mainland, and we are there to provide them with air support while we are trying to evacuate them. Pilots this time do have a Navy SEAL team there to protect them, but otherwise they are exposed and are being approached by large numbers of hostiles. We're in charge of the rescue operation. There is another flight that are available to help us out. We are supposedly given cap. And then there is helicopters that we can call in eventually to save the downed pilots. So anyway, let's jump in and see where this one all goes wrong.
All units, focus. A SEAL team call sign Hammer went in and recovered our guys. They're up in the mountains waiting for extraction. Uzi flights. You will provide CAS. Uzi 1-1. You have authority over SAR. You tell us when the LZ is clear and when the chopper can get in. Chevy, hold as instructed until required. The area should be clear of SAM. Infield, hold your cap until we bring our boys home. Good luck. Uzi, focus. I have contact with the guys on the ground. Switch to 127.5. Good luck.
So here as we're inbound we get our first little oddity. So he tells us to go to 127.5. That is not actually told what preset that is on at any point during the campaign, but because I have repeated this mission very, very many times, I know that is actually on preset 2, so flip over there. The weird problem is it is very heavily implied that we should be able to be in contact with JTAC here, and there is a JTAC option in the menu, but that JTAC is definitely not on 127.5. I've tried the others. It is not on the General Guard channel, it is not on the AWACS channel, not on the Flight channel. I have no idea what the in-game JTAC is actually set to. So I just end up ignoring in-game JTAC on the second playthrough onwards. I knew where to find the enemies, so I didn't really need them, but it just seems a little bit odd and inconsistent there. So I said I know where to look for the enemies here, so when I get within the vague area I flip onto waypoint 3 and the enemies are just a little bit to the northeast of waypoint 3. And I start putting down some targets of opportunity points while the voice stabs come in.
Focus, Hammer! I have hostiles moving in, APCs and infantry. I think there's some AA in the area, but I'm not 100% sure. We need some help now. Hammer Uzi, we got your back. We're moving to you. Do you have any trained FAC? Uzi Hammer, that's a farm.
So again there it is very heavily implied that we should be able to be in contact with a JTAC on the ground, but again I have tried doing all of the channels after that comes in, still absolutely nothing, so oh well. I order my wingman to engage, and then I start to head in.
Flight. Engage air defenses.
Now the game does prompt to focus on the APC, so that is what I get locked up here. I do have one laser maverick, one IR maverick, a bunch of dumb bombs and 2 laser guided bombs. Decide to start with the laser maverick here since that is easiest to do if you've got it all pre-set up and ready. So eventually get the lock on the targeting pod, turn on the laser. And while the voice stabs are going over each other, I roll over, uncage the Maverick Seeker, it finds it quite quickly, and so rifle 1. Then I pull away to maintain distance from the target, but try and maintain that laser lock as I do so, I pull away to the west here since there are clouds directly over the target, yet again, very common theme of this campaign, but pulling away to the west is nice and easy, and then before long I do get a nice hit. And since the APC that was moving with that one turns off the road and is nearby, I slew the targeting pod over to it and designate it as my next target. Then it's just a case of rolling back in now with the IR Maverick selected, and uncage, and rifle. And the IR Mavericks are a lot easier. I do keep the targeting pod on it, mostly for the sake of the footage more than anything, and we see here get a nice shack. So at this point I start turning back in to do bomb runs. While I'm on the way I decide to call in for the second CAS flight, because it really seems there's a lot on the ground and we need all the help we can get.
Uzi 2-1, Uzi 1-1, I need your help up here. You have the 9 line. Weapons hot. Keep your heads down until we get our guys out. Uzi 2-1, roger. Coming in hot.
Also, because my wingman didn't detect air defences on the first pass, I order him to engage once again, and this time he does confirm.
Flight. Engage air defenses.
Now, I've pre-sighted targets of opportunity where the infantry were. I go in and drop a bomb on them here.
Uzi Hammer. APC's 2 miles southeast of our position.
Now, unfortunately, my bomb misses there, and really the issue here is that there is this cloud that I mentioned directly over the target site. Once again, it seems very common in this campaign to have clouds directly over the target, and I can't go under the cloud level because there is a huge number of man pads floating around down there, which I've learnt from the previous attempt. And it is that huge number of man pads that my number 2 finds, and unfortunately he goes down.
Uzi Hammer. APC's 1.5 miles southeast of our position.
I then roll back in and try and drop another set of bombs. Problem is that again I'm having to do this from very high altitude, because if I drop down then I get overwhelmed with man pads, and that is what has taken me out on most of the previous attempts here.
Uzi Hammer. APC's 1 mile southeast of our position. Come on guys, it's getting tight.
So that one missed. I have one more iron bomb. Again, I just decided to drop this from high altitude. There's no point trying to hit the APCs with the dumbfire munitions since they are moving very quickly. I'm just dropping these in the hope that I can hit infantry with the splash damage, but I never managed to, and this third bomb again is a complete miss. Now for the 2 APCs, I do have 2 laser-guided bombs. I do locate them just by following the direction the first APCs were going in and find the second pair, lock them up no problem, start lasing, and then pickle. And despite sporadic cloud cover, it does nicely clear up just before the bomb hits down, and so shack. And here is where I make a mistake. I didn't toggle the TGP laser off and then rearm it. If you just leave it on, it will eventually time out. Unfortunately here, this is going to time out mid-flight, which is also a bit awkward because the laser didn't get a particularly good view before I hit cloud cover once again. And so unfortunately this bomb doesn't quite get where it needs to. You can see here me scrambling to try and reactivate it, mess it up with the controls. By the time I do start lasing, another cloud gets in the way, and then near miss. Now, finally here, after quite a while of me engaging, the second flight does actually turn up and start engaging. They do a fair amount of damage during this, but it's a little bit of too little too late. Without my wingman's munitions, we don't really help clear the vast majority of the enemies here. Now I'm down to nothing but guns, but I decide that I may as well actually use the guns, and so I dive in, trying to finish off this damaged APC. Unfortunately, I find aiming guns at night really hard. The tracer just blinds you, and so completely whiff the shot. Now I did spot the infantry columns while pulling away, so I decided to give it another try with the guns, this time at the infantry. And again, fire across, really having issues aiming accurately here, but managed to wound one infantryman, but that's all. Then turn around, go back in on the APC with what's left of my ammo, do a burst, and miss it as well. And that's me 100% Winchester at this point. As I said, I did repeat this mission over and over. This was my best result of all of them. Decide that I've done as much as I possibly can, and so give the call for the helicopters to come in, and then just turn back for home.
Chevy Uzi, the LZ is clear. Clear to land. Hammer Uzi, haul ass, baby. Let's get you home.
Now, while I'm on the way back, I do get a call coming in.
Focus, Chevy. I see helicopters on the other side of the mountains. You got any other units in the area?
Chevy, focus. Negative. Uzi, focus. Viz ID and engage north of the LZ.
Uzi, roger.
And this is again something that seems a bit weird. The mission briefing definitely says that we should have cap flying, but then when there's actually air targets, we are suddenly told that there is no cap flying, that we're the only things in the area, which does very much confuse me. I suppose what we're meant to do here is use our cannon, because we are not armed with sidearms or sidewinders for this one at all. But as you saw, I already used up my cannon here, and so I just RTB. There's nothing really I can do, just a weird thing to throw in an extra cap objective when we are supposed to have F-18s doing cap for us during this mission. So yeah, I just RTB at that point. Altogether, between the various flights, we managed to get 53 ground units destroyed. Not enough to officially complete the mission. I think we needed to get the helicopters as well and finish off that APC. Really would have been a lot easier if the wingman hadn't gone down, but it's really hard for the wingman not to go down there. As I said, there are at least 5 man pads in the area. I'm thinking a lot more than that by the amount that come up at you. The only real way that I see of dealing with them is to bait them out and then climb. That is really quite risky to do. These manpads do have a really easy time following Harriers, even if you're dumping countermeasures. And the player just doesn't have enough precision munitions to be able to take out all of the targets that are required of them. And the dumb bombs really don't work too well until those man pads are exhausted. I guess the best bet of what you could do is go in, try and wear them down, bait the man pads, then save your dumb bombs for doing strafes at the end there. But as I said, I already tried this 5 times. The campaign is wearing on me, so I'm not in the mood to repeat this over and over until I get a perfect result. I'm just moving on from there. I think this is another mission that suffers from over-reliance on what the AI needs to do. In this case, you need your wingman to take out a significant number of man-pads without getting shot down. You need the AI flights to come in and help you considerably. You just don't have enough munition for the sheer numbers that are on the ground. But anyway, that's where we're going to leave that for this week, and I will be back next week with the next mission here. We're pushing towards the end of this campaign, only a few missions to go. So hope you join me for that, and otherwise hope you remember to be kind to yourselves and everyone else. Cheers.